When you look out at the open ocean, it feels like infinite space, a vast, borderless expanse where massive cargo ships can chart a course in any direction they please. But that freedom is an illusion. This animated map shows the reality of modern global trade. It looks a lot more like a rigid superhighway system, with over 90% of all international goods confined to a highly specific set of pathways. And if you trace these immense commercial arteries, you'll see they all converge. Trillions of dollars in physical goods are forced to squeeze through just 6 incredibly narrow geographic bottlenecks. Our relentless pursuit of faster, cheaper supply chains has engineered a massive structural vulnerability. We've optimized the delivery of goods so tightly that these geographical corridors now operate as single points of failure. We've built the most complex, interconnected economic machine in human history, but its survival depends entirely on keeping a few tight miles of water open and flowing. To understand why these routes are so vulnerable, we have to look at when they were built. Much of our crucial maritime infrastructure was engineered for the world of the 19th and early 20th centuries. Today, we are pushing ships the size of skyscrapers through those exact same corridors. A modern megaship navigating a space like the Suez Canal has to thread a needle through shallow sandbanks with almost zero margin for error. In 2021, that narrow margin disappeared. A sudden, severe gust of wind caught the side of a massive container vessel, pushing it off course and out of the designated shipping lane. The bow wedged firmly into the canal bank, pivoting the 400-meter-long ship completely sideways. In an instant, a single navigational mistake physically plugged a main artery of global commerce. That localized accident paralyzed billions of dollars in global trade in a matter of hours. The sheer size of modern vessels has dangerously outgrown the fixed constraints of the Earth's geography. But the physical size of these waterways is only part of the problem. Because they are so narrow, they force massive concentrations of international wealth to pass within sight of highly volatile shorelines. Take the Strait of Hormuz. International cargo and energy vessels moving through this tight corridor are routinely shadowed, harassed, or threatened by local military and paramilitary factions operating fast-moving patrol boats. The moment a regional skirmish flares up or a faction threatens a blockade, the panic ripples outward. Insurance premiums for shipping companies immediately spike, and global energy markets brace for supply shocks. In these compressed spaces, local political disputes instantly trigger global economic crises. Now we are facing an entirely uncontrollable threat, one that goes beyond human error or political borders: shifting weather patterns. Look at the Panama Canal. Instead of a flat trench, it uses a complex freshwater lock system to physically lift massive ships up and over the Central American landmass. That mechanical lifting process requires millions of gallons of water per ship, all drawn from surrounding artificial lakes. The entire operation relies on consistent, heavy rainfall to keep those lakes full. But severe, prolonged droughts are drying up those critical water sources. Without enough water to operate the locks, the Canal Authority is forced to severely slash the number of ships allowed through. A pirate attack or a stuck rudder can be resolved in weeks. The evaporation of a vital waterway permanently degrades the physical vital viable out, leaving our supply chains entirely at the mercy of the environment. The illusion of seamless, invisible global trade relies on everything going perfectly. But between outdated infrastructure, volatile borders, and drying lakes, perfection is no longer possible. Mathematical probability catches up to every system. The disruption of these vital maritime arteries isn't a question of if it will happen again, but a certainty of when. To adapt, the shipping industry has to make brutal choices. They can route vessels thousands of miles out of the way, pay exorbitant fees for military escorts, or let goods pile up indefinitely in overwhelmed, gridlocked ports waiting for clearance. The decades of frictionless, ultra-cheap shipping are colliding with hard geographic limits. And when the pressure valves of globalization inevitably fail, it's the everyday consumer who absorbs the cost at the checkout counter.